How's it going, everybody out there? Welcome to my Call of Duty gaming channel. I am Nessinator. Now I have a fun and different type of commentary for you guys today that does not pertain to Call of Duty, and I'm going to get right into that topic in just a second. Let me introduce the gameplay for you guys. I'm using the Vesper here on the map Havoc in a game of Kill Confirmed. Now this is a throwback gameplay. I was only Prestige 6 in this game, so I do have quite a few of these left on my hard drive. I'm definitely going to get them out to you because they're fun gameplays to watch, so hopefully you enjoy that here in the background. And speaking of throwbacks, that's what we're going to get into a little bit in this commentary, as far as some things that happened previously a long time ago in my life. And I want to know where you guys are at with this as well, and that is fighting. Fighting, right? Interesting topic. You know, fighting is something that a lot of people try to avoid. There's a lot of people out there that try to avoid conflict, which is a good thing. Of course, everybody wants to avoid conflict, and most people don't like fighting. I would say in my lifetime I've been in about 15 to 20 fights. I mean, that may be a lot for some, that may be nothing but a day's work for others, but you know, I just try to avoid conflict as much as I could when I was younger. You know, I was always taught to stand up for myself. My dad, when I was younger, did teach me how to box. He was into boxing, so I did go a little bit through the whole fighting training and everything like that when I was young. But, you know, I was never the bully. I never liked bullies. I never tolerated bullying. You know, I was actually the kind of kid that would stick up for those kids that were bullied. I was always usually a big kid, not big as in overweight, but I was tall. I played a lot of basketball, and of course, a lot of my fights originated on the basketball courts. You know, tough fouls, trash talking, it's street ball, you know, so a lot of the fights that I got into growing up were because of basketball. And, you know, I remember distinctly the first time that I stood up to a bully. It was a summer camp. I was probably about 12 years old, so it was around 92 or something like that. And my parents used to put me in summer camp because they worked full-time, and during the day they needed me to be somewhere. So I joined this summer camp. It was a basketball summer camp, and it was one of those camps where, you know, they used to bring out, I'm pretty sure you guys probably remember this too, if you had PE or anything like that, recess, where, you know, at the time you would go out there for recess, they would bring out these big bins of all these different types of basketball, dodgeballs, and everything like that, and everybody would rush to these bins to get the best ball in the bin, right? You wanted to get the best basketball, or the best dodgeball, or the best baseball glove, you know, something like that. And I remember I ran to the bin this day, and I got my hands on the best basketball. There was this one ball that everybody wanted. It was like a real NBA ball. And this one kid, Mike, used to always get the ball. Now, again, at the time, I was probably 12 or 13, and this kid was probably around 15 or 16, so he was a little older than me. And he always used to get the ball first. Of course, everybody used to just give it to him sometimes. But on that day, I wanted the ball, and I got it. And me and my friend ran off to one of the hoops to go play some one-on-one. And surely enough, here comes Mike behind me, and he pushes me in the back. And he says, "Hey, you got my ball." And I told him, I was like, "I got the ball today, I'm going to use the ball." He's like, "No, give me my ball." And he keeps pushing me in the back. And I had the ball in my hands, and I'm trying to walk away. But he kept pushing me in the back and pushing me in the back. And I remember looking at my friend's face, and he just had horror just stricken all over his face. Like, "What are you going to do, man?" And I just looked at my friend. I threw him the ball. I said, "Hold this." And in one motion, man, I just turned around and gave the guy a right hook. Boom! And then I just came at him flailing with all my fists. And I just kept, you know, sticking him in the face, and he was like going back, trying to block my punches. And of course, all the kids on the basketball court were cheering and saying, "Fight, fight, fight." And, you know, I just kept swinging. And before I knew it, one of the, you know, people that run the summer camp came up behind me, and it was a big dude, older dude, and he grabbed me from my back because he wanted to stop me from punching. And he grabbed me around my arms and my back, and he picks me up off the ground. And luckily for me, he picks me up, and my feet were at perfect vantage point to that dude's jaw, and I just kicked out, man. I kicked him right in the face. He fell down. Everybody started laughing, and I just remember that was the first time that I stood up to a bully. And I will tell you, after that day, he never messed with me again. Whenever I got the best ball, he never challenged me. And, you know, of course, that's not going to always be the situation, but I will say this for most of you younger kids out there. If you're getting bullied, you got to learn to stand up for yourselves. You got to learn to defend yourselves, and I am a strong believer in that. That's something I would teach my kids. You know, you just always want to stand up for yourself, and stand up for the little guy too. You know, you see someone getting bullied, don't tolerate that. Stop it. You know, bullies suck, dude, and I'm just glad that I learned that as a young person, to stand up to bullies. And that was probably one of the most memorable fights too, was when I was a younger kid. That really set the groundwork for me as far as sticking up to bullies and stuff like that. And then the last thing I want to say about fighting is there was one time though, out of all my fights that I've been in, that I felt like I almost got knocked out. I remember this. It was the summer of '94, and my dad had just got me a new basketball. Again, it was a basketball story. It was a Michael Jordan basketball. It was one of those ones that had the clear rubber where you could see the interior threads and all the inner workings of the basketball. It was really, really cool, man. And I called my friend up at the time. His name was Greg, and he had a basketball hoop outside of his driveway. And I told him, hey, I just got this new ball. I'm going to come over. Let's play some one-on-one. He said, all right, man, come over. And me and him weren't the greatest of friends, but, you know, I went over there. We were playing some one-on-one. It was hot. You know, there's some fouls going on, and the ball goes out of bounds. And I tell him, hey, it's my ball. I grab the ball. He says, no, it's my ball. You fouled me. And we get into one of those arguments. And the next thing I know, he slaps the ball out of my hands, and he starts walking off to his backyard. Now, in his backyard, he had this lake. And it wasn't a big lake. It's not like Lake Michigan or anything. But he walks back there, and I knew right away he was going to kick my ball in the lake. So I ran in his garage, I grabbed his bike, and I run to the backyard with his bike. And I just see him, just in time, punt my basketball in the lake. So I run up, and I throw his bike in the lake. And, of course, right there, we go toe-to-toe, and we square off in his backyard. And we're boxing and stuff. And I remember I hit him in the face. He had braces, and I hit him right straight in his jaw. And he was just bleeding everywhere. He got mad. He got furious. And the guy rushes me, and he throws a right hook, man. He lands right on my jaw. And it dazed the hell out of me, man. It was the first time that I ever felt the sensation of almost being knocked out. I went down to one knee. I was dazed and confused. Luckily, he charged me. He tackled me. I was a bigger kid than him, so... You know, we went to the ground, we started wrestling. I was able to regain my senses, get him in a headlock, and we were still fighting on the ground. Next thing I know, his dad comes out of the house yelling, pulls us apart, and, you know, I just remember saying, damn, man, he almost knocked me out. So I would say out of all the fights that I've got in my life, I've won most of them. That's the only time that I really felt like I lost. Of course, I've been jumped before. Maybe I'll save that for a different commentary on a different day when I have more time. If you guys want to know that story, let me know down in the comment section below. But how many fights have you guys been in your life? You know, I'm really curious to know out there what's your stance on bullying, and if you have been bullied before, let me know down in the comment section as well. I'm interested to know all this stuff. Anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed one of these life story episodes, and I'm probably going to be uploading more often these days. In the end, thanks for all your views, subscribes, and likes. I appreciate it all. I'll see you guys on the next one, and I'm out.